Hey, okay, we're finally up. Hi guys, how you all doing? My name is Vincent Faney, and as you can see, here I am in a house, my house in Southern Oregon. It's my last remaining property, and basically want to chat about uh, what I had intended to do with this house. Right now, I'm trying to raise money for Rogue Retreat through a crowdfunding page, but this is the house, besides the one I had in Eugene, where I bought many, many, many years ago for a very low price, an affordable price, a price that even some people today could still afford. But my house went up from 100,000 and eventually went up to a couple 100,000, and that's just the way all houses are going. And because I had it for so many years, I bought it for a low price. I had it paid down. I owed very, very little money on this house I'm in and the house up in Eugene. And I had a boatload of equity in both these houses. And what I was trying to do for many years, for 25 years, I've been talking to people about how we could eradicate homelessness, to prevent people from becoming homeless, and to address the needs of keeping housing affordable for everybody. As a person who invested in real estate, as a person who's been through life, I see how real estate keeps going up, and I knew that the day would come when most people could not afford to purchase a house or even rent a house. So you got a lot of people who are on incomes. We call them the working homeless, and they're living on the edge. And so my whole issue is, what can we do to help people to finally get their housing? Okay, so you see a dialog box. Hi, I'm going to type in hi. Come and join me. You're welcome to participate. I'd like to see your comments, say hi, and so forth and so on. And if you're all interested. Now, as you can see, I got a picture right there of me when I was a month before my 40th birthday. People wonder why I got that picture. Why don't I just show a picture of me now? Well, you can see me now in the video. And the reason why I put the picture up there was a lot of people see me, that picture, and they see the optimism that I had, the joy of life, I reached many transcendent states. I had optimism and energy and so forth. And that's, even though you don't see me looking like that now, the spirit of those qualities still reside in me. Maybe not as much, but I'm still striving to get back to feeling that way, to participating back in life. My biggest dream, the thing that turns me on the most, more than weightlifting, more than anything, is community building, is looking at the challenges we all face as a society and working together to help each other to attain affordable housing and to prevent homelessness. Excuse me. My asthma. Anyways, as you can see, I showed that picture because right now, I'm 65. I look like a Gabby Hayes, and some people, if I don't really clean up, think I'm homeless. And I've been homeless a couple times, which is why I'm very passionate about this. I know what it's like to be poor. I know what it's like to have all sorts of housing insecurity. My family moved 14 times from the time I was born until I was 16, right before I went in the Marines. So I've always had this knowledge, this idea that if people had affordable housing, or if people got together and families and friends purchased housing and owned them outright, they would have a free place to live. Like, so during pandemics or when they're unemployed or whatever, they would at least have a shelter, a sense of community. And obviously, if in the meantime, before they went out of work or whatever, if they had pantries and so forth, the only thing they'd have to worry about is property insurance. And I have other ideas I'll talk about later, how we could get our municipalities to lower our property taxes dramatically. So in my mind, we should work together without getting the government involved, because when the government gets involved, every dollar you give them to achieve what I know we should achieve, only 30 cents of that dollar goes towards needed social programs. And the thing is that we can provide these type of social needs for ourselves. Now, even government agencies, even if they're not corrupt, even if they're not money laundering, even if there's even if they're effective, even if they're doing everything right, the very fact that every agency has a building, has utilities, has all sorts of things going on, they have overhead. So that overhead, under the best of conditions, still yields us 30 cents of the dollar that we pay them in taxes, and under the most common conditions, 10 cents to the dollar. Why, if we were to work together and grab this money ourselves and put it towards affordable housing and so forth for social programs, a dollar that we put forward that we normally put forward in taxes, if we gave it personally, that dollar, the entire dollar, would go to what we need, what we want. So again, another reason why I show this pictures is now some people say, oh, you are very muscular and blah, blah, blah. And that's true. That's not that important to me, but that basically is a representation of the type of dedication and the way I look at training as far as an all holistic way of approaching everything in life. I reached a world-class level of performance because of my dedication, my discipline, but also mainly because I was able to see what most strength athletes didn't see, as how everything works together in a holistic manner, not specific isolated training protocols or ways of looking at things. It's putting the entirety of your mind, your intellect, your spirit, your emotions, your ethics, hard work, science, everything together. And by using the same ideas, the same methods towards affordable housing, towards community building, towards relationships and friendships, mastery of anything, all of us have phenomenal potential that we could reach. Most of us don't know how. You know, I was lucky enough to stumble upon this. I'm no genius, but I spent years experimenting and obsessed over what I can do in every area. And whenever I applied the same things I learned from weight training to real estate investing, to relationships, to whatever, I've achieved phenomenal results, accomplished things that most people thought were impossible. And here's the great thing. I'm an average person, and if I could achieve certain things, most people out there could do better with the same protocols, the same approach. We just have to recognize certain patterns. So that's why I have this picture. It shows my optimism, shows the spirit that still resides within me. I was happy back then. I had goals. I was achieving them. I love having obstacles and challenges to overcome, because that's what makes life interesting. That's what builds us. That's what makes us learn. Okay, that's what makes us more self-reliant, and also learn how to be co-reliant on each other. And by being co-reliant on each other, we can help each other to be more self-reliant if we need to be by ourselves and we don't have anybody around. So that's why I put that picture up. And I'm going to discuss basically a lot of my the methods I try to get people involved. Because here's the thing. I like having goals. I like having challenges. And in the absence of anybody collaborating with me and being by myself, I take great pleasure in accomplishing things, even if I'm doing them by myself. But quite honestly, I've always felt more pleasure by collaborating with other people, because instead of a team of me, I prefer a team of we. And it frustrates me a little bit when I'm always having to say, okay, to show people that we could jump on board, sometimes you have to say, look, I'm doing this. If I can do it, we all can do it. So let's all do it. Let's all have fun together. And that's what I want to do. And so, I prefer, instead of saying, this is my view, this is what I want to do, this is what I did, this is what I would prefer saying, let's all have fun together. This is what we can do. This is what we are doing. We're accomplishing this, and we're doing it without the help of the government. Okay? And we're doing it for our future and the future of our children. So anyways, I'm new at this type of podcasting, this new program, so it's not going to be seamless as I've seen other people do their podcasts, because I'm new at this. So let me see. I'm going to take down this picture. I'm going to take down this picture. This is my profile picture. And I'm going to show the products. And the reason why it's products, because it's basically to show, what we have going. And see, it's not up there yet. So let me see if I can fade back. Okay, that's taking down my picture. But then there's I go for properties. Okay, so I'm doing things here that you can't see that I'm doing. I'm trying to make things happen. Okay, so it's automatic. Hide when the slideshow is done. Okay, I'm doing all these things, and I don't know why it's not working right now. But I want to show you what I've been doing, how I tried to approach this goal, this desire we all have to see homelessness eradicated and affordable housing put in. Okay, so I don't know why this is happening. So I gotta basically, let's see, I'm gonna put it under here. No, okay. This is frustrating. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But anyways, before these pictures come up, it's a slideshow to show you my progression, why I went from one plan of how to get people involved to invite them to work with me to get properties off the market. And this is really frustrating. I'm sorry. Okay, that's that, and that's that, and I got to do the products. Okay, we'll put that up there. And now I'm frustrated because that's not coming up. But again, in the beginning, I've tried all these different ways of trying to generate money or trying to get each of us to work together. And so in the final analysis, I've had to put together, I just figure if I can't get this done, I need to basically still, inspire people to I put up a crowdfunding page, and I'm hoping to give money to inspire people to give money to Rogue Retreat. So let's see why isn't this working? Okay, it's frustrating. So we get the properties, we got this, it's on automatic, pause when not visible. Okay, so we'll always play even when not visible. Let's see that. Okay, so this is the page that I put up. And the thing is, people say, well, I'm in here in Eugene. I'm not interested in any of that. So I'm going to put a page up for Eugene, the community shelters. And I've always been interested because of the homeless situation. This is Eugene. I know what it's like to live this way, and we could all do better. Now, there's nothing wrong with people not having a big house. Nothing wrong with a person, if they need to live in a tent. But this type of squalor is just unthinkable. It's to spread disease through the community. And so the only way to free ourselves of the shackles of poverty is to work together, is to practice together philanthropy for a force of good. Now, quite frankly, every one of us has a few bucks to spare for a good cause. God has given me money, and what I've done is I've created this book, Zen and the Art of Resistance Training, to help generate money for these endeavors, for organizations. And this is the books. I made a second edition of this book that I have in the Library of Congress, and these are the volumes that are standalone from the book. And this book helped me to go from 220 down to 170. And these are the list of my other books. My other books are simply life stories, true life stories, cautionary tales, lessons I learned, and it's simply a shameless way of trying to generate money to give to organizations and also the homeless, the affordable housing projects. Like I had hoped to raise enough money to pay these houses off and then give them to organizations at least for a fraction of the price of what they would have to do currently. So this is what I've done because people didn't come forward to do fundraising with me and to pay these places off that we could leverage. If you have a place that's paid off and fixed up, then you could charge minimal incomes for rents, and then you could take that income. Bank will say, hey, well, at least he's getting income. He doesn't owe any money. They don't owe any money on the houses and so forth, and they, we'll certainly loan them and be able to get them to leverage to another property, which won't be paid off immediately, but the items, the incomes, even though the 33 to 50% of what the current market would demand would be remarkable, and in short order we'd be able to pay off that third house, and then every house that we would get after that because of the previous houses, and albeit that the discount rents are there, it would help us to pay off each succeeding house faster and faster and faster. So even if we were to do one house at a time, within a span of 60 years, we could have 127 houses. Now, if we were to collaborate even further, we could do better than that. We could have multiple. And then if it was other groups of people, within a generation, we could all be walking out of a house that we're living in, where there's no mortgage on there. So if you were out of work, you could have a free place to live. But if you were working, you could be contributing discounted rents, and you could go out and see that 80% or so of the houses and commercial properties were paid off. Now, all these books I show in the collage of books. These are books I'm showing separately, are books that aren't in the collage. It's basically giving people more choices, right? And the thing is, I've even put up training videos for people who don't lift weights, but you could simply use a stick and you could have a killer workout. This is a trailer that I have that I tried to donate, or for people to a charity that would allow people to live there. And it's surprising how many charities are just not taking up on the invite. Again, another way for me to raise money and interest in my products. And I created these t-shirts and these posters and these training videos and the books to generate money because, quite frankly, I wasn't getting anybody to collaborate. And I thought even if I had people to collaborate with these products, we could make extra income, and half of the proceeds could go to affordable housing and the other half to the charity of the people's choice. Okay, and I got this is all on the up and up, and basically I'm all for transparency, and I'd be able to show how much of the funds are going to Amazon and the government, and how much of the funds would be going towards affordable housing and or an organization, one or the other or both. So this is what I felt like I had to do. Now, a lot of people don't like to see somebody make products and sell things because they think, whoa, oh my gosh, you're a capitalist and this is some backhanded way for you to get rich. But I already have a pension. I'm a minimalist, so I don't spend much money. I don't need hardly any money. Now, I was hoping to live in a Class C motorhome and have these houses that I used to live in. Now, a big house of 5-6 bedrooms. I'm not comfortable in a house that size. So I'd rather the houses be put to better use. So this is an appeal for a sane and compassionate approach to lighten each other's load. That's all it is. And I even went to CTV. I developed the channel at CTV to get this message out, hoping that the people will want to collaborate and help me with these endeavors, help me with their endeavors. So that's all I could say about that. And I've even did events, and where I say I'm going to take 2 days off, I'm going to fast for so long, willing to put up with some deprivation, some discomfort, and so forth. And I also put on YouTube channels and have Amazon and other pages on Facebook to get people to communicate, to focus on community building. But it hasn't worked out because all I get, most people are just like what they call lurkers. They don't make any comments. They just look and they tell me when I see them in the community, hey, I know you. I think what you're doing is great. But it's just not, they don't do anything. And most other people, basically, they'll give a thumbs up or say, great job, Vince. But quite frankly, I had to resort back to this and say, raising funds for Rogue Retreat. Come and watch me do some Dave Blaine stunts, and you'll enjoy yourself. Okay? So now this just went off. I'm going to go back again. This is a filler for some space, just to get you people, just to kind of keep your eye on something that's moving and interesting, hopefully. And so there we go again. Nope, that didn't do it. Back to properties. Okay. Loop. I'm going to say loop. All right, so there we go. So I had to come back and resort to this because this way, when you give money to crowdfunding page, it goes straight to the organization. I don't get to touch it whatsoever. It goes straight to them. And what I've done with some of these organizations, I said, look, I'm going to be doing this for you. I want you to go to your donors list, or the people in the community, have everybody that works and is helping with Rogue Retreat to tell people about the Dave Blaine stunts they're doing. They could join in, they could watch me, and they could pledge money for every dollar, for every pound I lose, for every day I go without food, for every pound that I lift, for whatever days I spend in the sensory deprivation tank. And it's not just the Eugene. Like if I'm in Medford doing this event, people in Eugene could watch this and they could go to the crowdfunding page I'm setting up for community supported shelters and know that the money is going to go to a good organization in their community to get things done. But I don't think this problem, since it's not just our local communities here in the United States, the homeless epidemic is something that's happening worldwide, in the UK, in Europe, in Australia. Now here's the thing, I've reached out to organizations all around the world, to groups on Facebook, to actual websites of organizations in the UK and Australia, in Africa and so forth. And I said, listen, I'm doing an event and I can't make thousands of crowdfunding pages. But here's what you can do. I'll put this link, you could watch my Dave Blaine event. You could go to your donation donors list in Australia, in the UK, whatever donors list you have, whatever list of friends and family and community and that you can share with, and you can say, Vince, this crazy old codger is doing this event, and he's basically trying to inspire us. So listen, watch this event. We're going to put up a crowdfunding page here in Australia or the UK or whatever the organization is, and we're basically going to allow, we're basically going to inspire people, or look at Vince and listen to his request that you give money to that crowdfunding page in your locale. So money's going to your local communities all around the world. Now, Australia didn't do that. I had one organization in Australia said, no, we're not interested in this whatsoever because you live in the United States, you're dealing with your homeless problems here. This is Australia, we're dealing with our homeless problems here. And I'm saying, well, it's not just Eugene or Medford that's my community. It's not just the United States. I look at the earth as a global community of which I'm a part of. And the world's not going to be the place that it could be unless we help provide things necessary for all communities in every society across the globe. As you can see, these books, I tell these people, okay, there are people who don't want to just simply give money. They have a shortage of money. They like to read books. They like training programs. They like t-shirts. And they say, yeah, I'll buy this. My whole thing is basically to offer people what they want, not tell them what they should do. Say, look, if you don't want to just give money, say, shoot, I gave $100 to this, and money's tight. But I like reading books, so I'll buy $100 worth of Vince's books, t-shirts, and training programs, knowing I got these life lessons to learn, hear Vince's perspective. And then I know that those proceeds will go to our charity. All we have to do is request it when we make these purchases, or it's going to, or it may go to affordable housing in different areas. And again, these are all the products. These are all the things. That's the house that I'm offering. I said this many organizations in the community down here in Medford. And when I was in Eugene, I did the same thing. I said if I could pay this house off, if I could do the necessary repairs, get people in to pay a third to 50% of what they would normally pay. That's income. Banks love that. And then we can move on from there. So that's all I can do. Now, this place here in Medford, taxes, property taxes, and fuel, and everything's going up so much that the people I've been giving discounted rents to, who originally are paying only 50% of what they would have to pay elsewhere, everything's going up so much that a studio apartment, not even the size of a bedroom I have upstairs where a guy's staying in, is now $950. He's paying a third of that. Okay, he's paying a third. Okay, and but he would have to go rent $950, and then he would have to pay first, last, and everything else. Secured deposit, and then have great credit and a job and everything. It's so competitive that you got a lot of people like him who will have no place to go. If they're lucky, it'll be a tent city for them. A tent city, And so this is a way to alleviate, to address this problem. And we could do it without any of the people, without tax dollars. Because understand this, tax dollars mean that every dollar you give, every dollar is going to be, but even at the agency that is involved to take care of our social needs or housing or helping the poor or whatever, even if it's run effectively without corruption, you're looking at 30 cents of every dollar you give to your taxes is going to these needs. But really, the way most government agencies work, you're lucky to get 10 cents. If we give the money amongst ourselves and collaborate together, every dollar, the entire dollar, every cent will go towards what we need. So that's like 3 to 10 times more effective than what the government could do for us. And because there's no red tape and bureaucratic BS, it could happen like sooner. Now, when it comes down to the homeless issue or affordable housing, let's look at the homeless issue. It would help just to get people as quickly as possible in Conestoga villages or villages that were made from pallet sheds or even tent cities, and supply these communities. Each community have its own community laundry facility, its own community cafeteria and kitchen, like what I had in the Marines. So you have scheduled meals. It's one big cafeteria. Everybody goes there. No private kitchens in their Conestoga, so you go to a cafeteria. And so when you go to the cafeteria, you can eat and you can have a sense of community. You could have a common room with there's TVs and computers to do research, to do schooling, to work on resumes, whatever. Okay, and then you have a community shower. Like when I was in the Marines, we didn't have private bathrooms. We had community showers for the men, community showers for the women. You could have community showers for people who ever identify what they identify as. So, we all know that land costs even today. We know we could figure out what the amount of land that's needed to put these communities on. We know how much the land costs. We know where there are. We know how much Conestogas cost to make and pallet sheds and so forth. We could contract it out to the best bidder, get the best bids. And we could easily find out what the dollar amount would be to make all this happen within a couple months. Now, think of this. You may be suspicious of me selling books and t-shirts and so forth, but think of this. Forget about if every citizen of Eugene, forget about if 150,000 people of Eugene decide to buy one book. That's a lot of dollars. That's $1 million if they bought one book for, to go to the community to make this happen. If they were to buy all 30 some of my books, 150,000 people, that would be more than enough money to make sure we had all these shelters built, the land built, everything set up. And then from there, people could start working on themselves instead of scrambling and living in fear and feeling like they're living undignified lives. They could regain their dignity. We should be treating them with dignity. We should set up situations where people who are homeless have privacy, safety, and are looked at as like untapped potential for themselves and society. So we can make this happen. We and they, all of us can work together to make this happen. And it doesn't have to be my books. You guys could, again, I was asking for collaboration for people to bring in their albums, their music, their DVDs, their podcasts, their books, their art, put together for the community to buy. So even if you only had it, you say a lot of citizens aren't interested in helping the homeless. They think they should pull themselves up by the bootstrap, that it's all their fault that they're homeless. That's not true. Only for some people, okay? But the fact is, regardless if people are lazy and mentally ill and drug addicts and they don't want to work, it's still better and cheaper for the community, for everybody involved, to give them little communities to where they could stay for the rest of their lives, even if they don't want to work, even if they want to continue taking drugs, even if you can't cure their mental illness. And that way they're going to be safer, they're going to be taken care of. It's going to be like many times cheaper, by magnitudes of many, than putting them in jail or harassing them or getting the court systems chronically involved. It's just better, it's just superior. Chris McAllister and so many other people showed me that. And why not do that, right? There's no downside to that. So we could get these people involved. We could get them, people who are going to school who could be tutors and teach any subject, tutor any subject and earn college credits. Why the people who are homeless or poor can get a free education, right? Without involving tax dollars. All these things are pretty simple. Now, is it perfect plan that will help everybody be totally actualized and safe? No, because none of us are perfect. The people who are homeless are not perfect. We're not perfect. But it's the best plan going. And Rogue Retreat is the most dynamic, effective organization in the United States in how they're handling the homeless situation. And not just housing them, not just providing shelters, but also giving them so many tools to get ready to be reestablished if they want back into the community to earn their keep. Most people want to feel like they're contributing. They really do, So while we shouldn't go out of our way to shame people and just bully them or anything like that, we should just encourage them and coax them to be the best of what they want to be. And most people really, for their good, want to be the best. And all this is a painful process. That's why I say embrace the pain, because when you embrace the pain, then you can indulge yourself, and then you could just constantly move forward and help yourself, enjoy yourself, and understand that all this is simply a state of mind, and understand that the journey towards anything is a reward. Okay, that's all. And so we should occupy Eugene with this state of being. We should occupy Australia. We should do this, but we need to embrace the pain, because pain and obstacles and challenges make us strive. Make us go choose the red pill instead of the blue pill. It's just the way to go. And I hope that all of you who are watching this, I notice none of you are making comments, no doubt some of you are lurking, that we could do this together. We could basically, again, I put up products and so forth because no one else is bringing up products. Not to say that they wouldn't want to, not to say that they weren't doing it in some little thing, but we could all do this together, and we could help generate enough money We could force our legislators to lower our tax burden and to basically stimulate our economy. And so, why wait for legislators? Again, an appeal for a sane, compassionate approach to lighten each other's load. So, in the end, like I said, I hope to interview many of you on community TV. I hope to invite you, all of us, you and everyone, to embrace the pain and join me on these many different walks. Like I've done walks and different events to inspire people to jump on board. But again, simply liking what I say, simply making comments and attaboy events isn't really helpful. Because that's not what I'm searching for. I'm not seeking that kind of attention. And I'm seeking for us to be a league of community builders. And is there anything wrong with that? Now, I appreciate your comments, your plans, your constructive criticism, but more than anything, I appreciate solutions and your willingness to roll up your sleeves with me and I with you to attain affordable housing. So you could go on Amazon. I set this up easy. The way you go on Amazon, you'll have my list of books. You can purchase the books. But bottom line, if none of this works, raising funds for Rogue Retreat, for community supported shelters, and you could contact me on all these different links. So I'm done, and you guys have a good night. Bye-bye.